Afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to Mike Trades. Welcome to the second video of the sequence. So today I will be talking about another topic that someone had asked me to talk about, and that is stock selection, right? So there's really two arenas that come to my mind when I'm considering which stock I'm going to trade. The first arena being very simple, strategy, okay? And the second arena being stock and market variables, right? So let's talk about these two. All right, strategy. What are the strategies that I like to implement for trading, for day trading, right? The first one that I really love to use is day one strength followed by a day two bounce off of demand. All right, another strategy that I love to use is day one weakness followed by a day two reject off of supply. Okay. Another strategy I like to use is a break and retest of key levels. All right. And then just pure momentum trades using price action. Okay. And these may be not as consistent as these other trades, but if I see clear momentum on a stock, I'm going to trade it. All right. If I see momentum to the downside, momentum to the upside, and it's aggressive, then I'm going to look for an entry somewhere. Okay. The next thing to consider is stock and market variables. So variables considering the individual stock and also what's going on with the market in general. Okay. So is the stock a high beta name, right? So I only trade high beta stocks intraday, right? What does that mean? High beta stocks mean highly volatile, okay? And they also mean that it has a large intraday range, right? So high beta, when we're talking about high beta, we're referring to your Apple, your Nvidia, your Tesla, your Meta, all right? Those are different names that are high beta, all right? So high beta stocks. Another thing I'm going to consider is where is SPY trading, right? Is SPY trading at supply or demand? You know, if SPY is trading at supply, I don't really want to take breakouts to the upside on these individual names, right? If the market is very overextended to the upside, I'm going to start looking for short side plays, all right? If the market is very overextended to the downside, I will start looking for upside plays, all right? I don't want to go against the market, but if SPY is trading at supply, I'm not going to focus on the long side, right? And if SPY is trading at demand, I'm not going to focus on the short side, okay? Another thing I want to consider is the stock range bound? Is the stock in an uptrend or is the stock in a downtrend, right? Because you want to trade with that higher time frame trend, right? So look at the hourly, 4-hour, or daily chart, and that'll give you a good idea as to where the stock is trading, okay? And then, of course, last but not least, you have to actually find a proper setup for that individual name, okay? So how can I find that setup? Well, these are the different strategies that I use, okay? So I'm looking for key levels, right? I go to the hourly and 4-hour chart and try to find those macro levels of supply and demand, and then I'll trade based on those levels. All right. I'm also looking at how did the stock perform the prior day, right? So I will group these names based on how they performed, right? It looks like Netflix was our weakest beta name today. So potentially I'll be looking for a short side trade on Netflix tomorrow, right? Apple was our strongest name today, right? It closed up 1.8% while the market closed red. So maybe I will look for upside on Apple tomorrow, okay? Apple filled the gap. I took a trade on Apple today. Once it broke 220, I took the retest, 219.5, and it went back the high of day, right? I was also watching it over 217, but it broke that pre-market, right? So these are the different things you should be considering. Does it align with your strategy? All right. If you're selecting a stock, does it align with your strategy? And what is that individual name doing, as well as what is the market doing? So I have a lot of stocks on my watch list, but I'm not going to trade some low volume stock like Daku, all right? And I'm not going to trade stocks that are in the middle of ranges like Daku, right? This stock is in the middle of a range. I'm not going to trade it, right? The options contracts are illiquid. Even the stock is illiquid, all right? So besides that, these are the two arenas that I'm looking for, okay? Besides that, now it's just time to find a proper setup. How do we find a proper setup? By looking at the charts, right? So every morning I get on at least an hour before the market opens and I start charting, usually 2 hours before market opens, depending on data. You know, if there's data at 8:30 a.m., then I may wait for the data to come out because a lot of those setups can be ruined by that data release. Okay, so I'll just start flipping through the charts and, you know, coming up with areas of supply, areas of support or resistance. So Meta actually, there's a level I'm watching here, this 545. If you zoom out, as you always should be doing, you can see on the 4-hour chart, this was our all-time high. We rejected in July 8th. We rejected again on August 22nd, right? So if Meta can break out of 545, we have upside room. Okay, another name that I'm watching is Netflix. Netflix closed very weak today. It was the weakest name on my list of beta names. It closed down 2.3%. So it has rejected this 700 level. This was our previous all-time high from November of 2021, and it's rejected it many times now. You can see all these daily rejects on Netflix. It closed below 700 again, all right? So maybe I can watch for either a 700 reject. It kind of depends how we open and where we're trading pre-market. Or I could take a trade under today's low, this 688 level I have marked, all right? You can see this as a support from Monday and support from today. So if we break 688, there's room back down to this previous support area at 680. That's a nice $8 move. Not a ton on the equity side, but on options, that's a 200% trade. Okay, so that's something I'll be watching. Another name I'm really interested in seeing is Tesla, 235. This level is huge. You can see, I'll zoom out to the 4-hour, right? We have a support back here. We have many rejects of this level back from end of July, as well as beginning of September, as well as yesterday. And then again today, when FOMC came out, it went back to that 235 and rejected again. So that's many rejects of this 235 level. Now, if the market turns bearish and we have a 1% down day tomorrow, then potentially we can see lower on Tesla. So I have a little level here at 226, and then I have another level at 224. You can see the support that we held on 226 all day, the past 3 days, and then 224, we have some support from Thursday and Monday, right? If we lose 224, there's really nothing down to 217, right? This low from the 11th, right? So there is, you know, there's potential for both sides here on Tesla. We do have downside, but we do have upside. If it can break that 235, we have a gap to fill on the daily, right? This daily gap from 235 all the way back up to 245, right? So there's several different trades to consider here, right? So that's all I'm looking at. When it comes to stock selection, I'm looking at, does it align with my strategy, right? And then I'm looking at market variables. Where is SPY trading? SPY is trading at supply, right? Right now, SPY is trading at supply. So you do want to be careful with trades to the upside. But on relatively strong names like Apple today, it's okay to take those breakouts, those break and retests. So that's where I got in Apple today. We showed strength off the open above my 217 level. So I waited for it to come back down, retrade, build over 220. I wanted it to build over 220 first and then come back down. I got in at 220. I added it to 219.5 and we saw a nice move back into high of day, right? So we'll see what happens tomorrow. All right, watch those names that I talked about, Tesla, Meta. But let's see what happens with SPY. We have this nice tick into 565 here after hours. But the daily candle closed pretty bearish. So we'll see what happens in the morning. All right, a lot can happen between now and tomorrow. But that's pretty much all I wanted to discuss on this video. So if you enjoyed, please leave a comment. If there's anything else you want me to discuss specifically, let me know. Thanks, guys.